Hey guys, I'm Chef Team Bax. Welcome back to the kitchen. Today, we're gonna do a summer coleslaw, a little bit different than you're used to, but it's gonna be awesome. I think you're gonna like it a lot. Click subscribe if you're not doing that already. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video and ring that bell and I'll send you new things I have coming up. So I'll see you back for a summer coleslaw. Okay guys, let's start this off. So there's a lot of ingredients here. I want a lot of summer freshness in this. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start with a little bit of the base of the dressing. So the dressing in this is a little bit unorthodox because, I've got some, it's just not a traditional, I wanna make basically a traditional American coleslaw, but I wanna add in a few kind of Asian ingredients like green papaya. And I've got like a different, more of a napa cabbage here versus a Savoy or a green cabbage. So I'm gonna put some cilantro, some green onions in it. So it does have the feel of almost like a green papaya salad, but a green papaya salad, which you guys can click above and check out my green papaya salad, is amazing too. That's very clean because there's not a lot of oils in it or fats in it. It's just kind of just acidity and tamarind I use in that, which is beautiful. So if you want to try something clean like that, green papaya salad is an awesome one. This is a total different variation. What I'm trying to do is use some of those Asian ingredients, but I'm going to give it some of that creaminess feel of a southern coleslaw where you would use a lot of sugar, you'd use a lot of milk and then cream in that or buttermilk. But we're going to mix it up today. So check this out. We've got, I've got over here some sugar. Now over here, I've already got some lemon in there. I'm gonna probably do one more to show you guys how to just do that. So when you're doing your lemons, get yourself your little lemon squeezer here so you don't get seeds in there, right? And just wanna squeeze it really good. I've got probably 5 lemons in there already. So it's a good amount of lemon juice. It's probably a 1/4 cup of lemon juice or more, right? We might at the end of this have to adjust, which is normal. That's kind of what we have to do. So what I do, squeeze this in really good, okay? And then I'm gonna stick that back in my sink, okay? And then I'm gonna add some vinegar. Now, why do we use vinegar and lemon, not just all lemon? Because vinegar and lemon are 2 different acidities, right? So lemon is, you've got that really citrusy acidity, and then the vinegar has kind of this aged acidity to it that I really like. So I'm gonna put this rice wine vinegar, and this is unsweetened. Now, because it's unsweetened, we have to sweeten it a little bit. I buy unsweetened rice wine vinegar because you'll see it says seasoned. Seasoned means sweet, okay? I do that because sometimes I want dishes to be non-sweet, so if I use the vinegar in there, I don't want it sweet. So you should always buy it non-sweet, unseasoned, and then add sugar when you want to. Like now I want to add sugar. So I'm gonna add a good, probably 1/4 cup of white sugar in there. That's what makes this not necessarily as healthy as, running just a clean vinegar and salt with no oil, right? So I whisk this up just to really dissolve the sugar in this. And then I'm gonna put salt too. I have some pink salt in here. It's Himalayan pink salt. Sometimes it likes to bind up again, so if I haven't used it in a day, so I just scrape it like that, and I put nice saltiness in there. So we've got salty, vinegary, and then we're gonna add, it's delicious. And then I'm gonna add creamy. So I'm gonna put half and half, about probably a 1/4 cup of that as well, okay? Okay, now I have some vinegar here that I have with some chilies in it. Now you don't have to use this. I'm gonna add this in addition. You could just put a little bit more rice wine vinegar or just taste it at the end and add more rice wine vinegar if you need it at the end. I'm doing this because sometimes I have hot chilies, I grow them in the garden, and then they're ripe and I can't eat them all. So I have to chop them up and I put them in vinegar, whether it's rice vinegar or apple cider vinegar, and then a little salt and sugar. And then later, I'll use those. So I just want to like stick my chilies in there, a couple spoons of that vinegar for spicy acidiness is really nice. Now, I'm going to put in here too some celery salt. I like the flavor of celery salt in this. Celery salt is that celery flavor. I was going to try to pull it out, and just so because I know I need to use about a tablespoon, and I want to shake it, but it's not coming off easily, so I'm just going to shake it in. Okay, so you want to shake in a good amount. It's probably a half a tablespoon of celery salt, right? And then we're good to go. And then last, I'm going to do some mayonnaise. So mayonnaise, I'm going to put 2 big spoons of mayonnaise, maybe 3 big spoons of mayonnaise. This is a lot of mixture. Okay, and then I'm done. Now I want to whisk this. And this mixture is going to be ready for all the vegetables, all right? So, first vegetable I'm going to put in there is onion. So I've got some onion here. This is a whole onion. I just peeled it and cut it in half, right? The root part right down here, this root part, you want to set that away from you, right? Because that's going to be, if you're going to throw away a piece, you throw away that part, right? And then I'm going to slice it straight down like this. So I get these long, thin strips of onion in my salad. Most of these things in here we're going to probably cook, we want them to be almost like julienne style. So here, let me do that so my handle doesn't fall down in there in my stuff. I got a really big bowl, as you guys can see. And then I'm going to cut the last piece like this carefully, right? And then I'll julienne a couple of these pieces like this. I don't like to waste any of that onion, right? So at the end, the only piece of the onion I'm wasting is just that root, that hard root end, okay? So I'm going to do this one the same way, like this, okay? Always watching to keep your fingertips under so you don't cut them, right? And then all of that just gets slid in there. When you're sliding something off your knife, to be very cautious not to slide your fingers along the blade, right? It seems very obvious, but you'd be surprised how many people that make that mistake. Now, I'll mix that in a little bit. One of the things I did forget was black pepper. I like a lot of black pepper in my coleslaw. So I'm just going to just load it up with black pepper. So yes, it does have other spicy peppers in there, but it doesn't have to. If you guys want to make a spicy vinegar and you don't have a lot of crazy peppers, just go get jalapeños. Get a couple jalapeno peppers, mince them up, put them in some apple vinegar, put them in your fridge, let it sit for a little while, and then boom, that's what you add. Okay, now with peppers, I have these bell peppers. All I do is cut down the wall of the pepper, and I want to show you something. I don't like to waste any of the pepper, so I trim all of this piece here, to make sure I get all of the flesh of the pepper like this, right? And then the back too. Now, what I get from that is I get the pepper has this pith in it, so I lay it flat. For those of you guys who have cooked with me for a while, you guys have seen me always like peeling my peppers like this, right? It's always to take that kind of extra acidic inner wall of the pepper out, and it gives you nice fleshiness on these. Then I'm just going to lay those down, and I'm just going to slice them long and thin. Okay, long and thin slices, rocking my knife back and forth to create what they call a julienne. Now I turn that a little bit, and I cut it in half, and that's it. I get this julienne vegetable. Okay, that pepper is really nice flavor. We're putting the peppers and the onions in first because we want those to really marinate longer. They take a little bit longer to kind of marinate. In reality, if you mix this thing and you serve it a day later, it's even better. That's how I like it. So I like to say, go ahead and make it. Don't worry about how you're marinating it, and just let it go. So over here, I've got some carrots. I'm going to stick all these. Those are all shredded carrots in there. So you can shred those just on your box grater is fine. I've got some cucumber. I'll show you the cucumber. The cucumber I've julienned like this, right? Because we want this coleslaw to stay really kind of tight and together. Let me move this off my cutting board. Always got to keep a clean cutting board. Now I've got a mandolin here. You can buy these really cheap online. It's called a Little Benny. And I put the little julienne blade on there. And you just run the cucumber down like 3 times. And you're taking the outer skin and the outer flesh, but you're not really taking the seeds. And then you just keep rotating the cucumber around in a circle like this. And what you end up with is all beautiful skin and flesh of the cucumber, and you're not eating the watery seeds. Now, does that mean the watery seeds are bad? They're not bad. And actually, I like them a lot. So what I do is put that in there like that, your cucumber in there, and then I take the cucumber itself, the watery, fleshy part, and I put salt right on it. And then I eat that. That's my kitchen snack, right? If you ate just that, then you'd be nice and skinny, right? But I had a lot of other things to it too. That's delicious. So here I have some more of the peppers that I cut up. Those are basically 2 peppers, 1 cucumber. I've got cherry tomatoes here. That's about 1 pint of cherry tomatoes cut in half. Okay. And now, seems getting too big for my whisk. So I'm going to just fold it like this. Okay. Fold my ingredients together like this. That looks good. Looking really good. Now, like I said, this coleslaw is better marinated for at least 3 hours, because what happens with these vegetables? All these vegetables are going to kind of break down. That's the one thing. Let me taste the salt level of this. There's not enough salt in it. So I want to put more salt, because the salt is really going to break the vegetable down. Okay? And that's what we're looking to do. The last piece of cucumber. Delicious. Now, I have some green onions. I want to wash those really good, which I've done. And I've got the roots here at the bottom. We don't want the roots in there. So I'm just going to cut the roots off. I lay them down like this. All the roots get thrown to the side, right? And I take the green onions and I just chop them. This is going to give us that kind of fresh green onion taste, spring onion, a little bit of garlicky flavor without putting garlic in. Sometimes putting garlic in stuff that's raw like this, that you're not cooking the garlic, can be overwhelming with garlic. So I don't like to do it. So I like to put in green onions, because green onions give you a garlicky flavor without that, okay? Now, the next big thing is going to be cabbage, right? Our cabbage. Now, I use this beautiful napa cabbage. I'm going to cut it I cut it in half. This was the whole thing, right? I just cut it in half, and I lay it down, and I make these thin cuts from it. So it's actually a little bit easier to cut, I think, than Savoy cabbage, right? And look how beautiful and thin and tight it looks, right? It's really nice. So cut that thin like this. And we're going to add a lot. That's why we had so much stuff in there, is because this is going to be a big salad. I'm going to a barbecue. Friends of mine caught some fish and lobster, and we're going to just grill out fish and lobster. So what's the perfect summer thing with that? A beautiful coleslaw to go with it. You know, you got all these healthy flavors, and then you just make like a nice buttery dipping sauce for the fish, and you've got this healthy coleslaw, and it's a great combination. So this thing can work for any barbecue. You're going to smoke some ribs, or you're going to make a little barbecue pork butt. This is beautiful to have, right? So there's half of that. I'm putting this whole thing in here, okay? So I've got any pieces of lettuce, cabbage leaf that don't look great, just take them right off. I'll take that piece off there, right? And then that's it. I slice it nice and thin. So let me finish slicing this, and I'll show you how to do the green papaya. Okay, next I've got some green beans here. These green beans, beautiful summer green beans, nice and blanched. You could just put them in there whole if you wanted to, But I like to just cut them a little bit smaller. That way they kind of evenly cruise throughout the cabbage salad here, this coleslaw. Now you don't have to put green beans in. That's not probably traditional for American, but it is traditional for kind of a green papaya salad or an Asian coleslaw sometimes to put long beans in there. And I just love it because it's fresh and it's summery, right? You could put whatever summer item you wanted to put in here. You want to put zucchini in? You know, put some zucchini in. If I was going to put zucchini in, I like to, rather than just have them raw, I do like them raw, but I like to marinate them a little bit. Well, the zucchini will marinate in here. If you let it marinate for a couple hours, it's fine, and it marinates, and it has a really fresh flavor, and I like that. So zucchini is a great additive. These green beans I did blanch. I don't like them raw because they won't marinate and get soft, you know, unless you love raw green beans. Some people love raw green beans, and that's not a bad thing either. So we've got that as well. And then I've got some cilantro here, a big bunch of fresh cilantro. So what I'm going to do with that is I'm just going to take it and chop it, not too small, right? When I get to the ends by the stems over here, that's where I'll go a little smaller because I don't want big chunks of stem in there. But the leaves and stuff, I want big leaves. I want people to taste, wow, it's fresh flavors, right? And that's it. So we'll do that. I'm going to put this in. And then the last bit is my green papaya. Now this is what a green papaya looks like. What I like to do is cut it on the bottom, right? And then I want to cut it on the top. And I'll cut it halfway through. Now, what happens is sometimes you have seeds in here like this, and I will sometimes it's easier just to tap them out because they get it, they go everywhere. Now, green papaya, sometimes you have to actually look in like an Asian grocery store for green papaya. And again, you don't have to make it, you could just leave it. Right there is good enough, right? All of your cabbages, you can use Savoy cabbage or green cabbage if that's what you have. You don't have to use the napa cabbage. You don't have to use the green papaya. I just had these around. That's why I'm using them, okay? So the same with this. I'm just getting any bit of seeds. And there's not that many seeds in there, which is good. So that's that. And then what I'm going to do is peel it a little bit. So I've got my peeler here. And then I'm going to peel this. You can see, right? And I do that because the papaya itself is a little bit, you know, the green papaya skin is not very edible. It's kind of hard. It's kind of having like one of those like domestic cucumbers that they putting wax on to protect them as they travel. So normally you always peel like a domestic cucumber, where this cucumber that we use today was an English cucumber, and their skin is a little bit lighter and more edible. So I even think they do put an edible wax on that too, like a very thin wax, to keep them kind of firm and keep them from kind of turning bad, you know, blemishing the skin and stuff. So with this, simply moving it around like this, and then we're gonna julienne this on our blade. So this mandolin. If you don't have a mandolin, you can thinly slice this. Probably the best thing for you to do if you don't have a mandolin is take a box grater and grate it like we did with the cucumber. Just put it on one of your shredding settings and do that. Some of you guys have like fancy equipment at home, like electric stuff that you use for that kind of thing. So with this, you know, I'm going to go a little bit finer than the cucumber. And you see here, I just run it across there carefully, not to get my fingers, and this is what it looks like. See that? I'll put that in there. And that's going to be beautiful. Okay, so I'll do all this, and I'll see you back in a second. Okay, guys, well, I'm down to the nub here, right? And you don't lose a finger trying to get every bit of this, right? You can leave that little centerpiece like that, and then you can see how much beautiful green papaya we're going to get here. That's a lot, right? So I'm just going to stick that in there like this. And again, you can see green papaya is firm, okay? And when you eat it like this, it's kind of like, has just a very light flavor, kind of like a very hard cucumber in a way. And it's good texture. I'm gonna put a little bit more salt on that, because it's always nice to directly salt that. And then I'm going to mix this in. So you can see lots of stuff here, right? Lots of stuff. This is why we needed so much dressing, right? Because we just have a lot of things in there. And it needs to marinate together. We need that acidity, the brightness of the lemon, the vinegar, salt, sugar, all of that stuff. So I'm going to mix this up really good. I'm going to let it marinate, and I'm going to show you what it looks like in a little bit. Okay, guys, I'm back. It's been about a couple hours. Now take a look at this. Take a look at this slaw. Look at this. Beautiful. It's really kind of wilted down nice. Very creamy looking, right? And then all of the flavors of this meld together. So at this point, you really just want to taste a little bit of it. I really don't think it needs anything. At this point, you would taste it for mainly salt. You could taste it for sugar too, if you want like a little sweetness. If you want some hot sauce, putting hot sauce directly in it would be fun too. So if you have a really nice hot sauce that you like, just don't just put any garbage stuff in there. Look, if you have something really nice, put it in there, and I think it'll be fantastic. So with this, you know, you've got this beautiful coleslaw now. You go into a party and you're ready to roll. You go there with a big container of it, and everybody's going to love you for it. Look how fresh and beautiful that looks. It's fantastic. Wonderful coleslaw. I don't even know what style it is. We just came up with it. That's the beauty of cooking. You don't have to stick to one thing. All these vegetables from different areas of the world, but they all love to blend together. The main thing you need is balance. Salt, acidity, vinegar, right? Sugar, spice. You put those things together right, you put some fresh herbs in there and fresh vegetables, it's going to be awesome. So I hope you like it. I'll see you back in the kitchen soon. I'm Chef Dean Max.